If I'm the Democrats, given Stephen A's name recognition and his constant ability to attract audience, to speak in sound bites, to debate, because Stephen A on a debate stage, it will get real. The Democrats need to take him seriously. He's a threat.
As a black man, civil rights legislation, 1964, I'm going to ask the Democratic Party, tell me what you've done for us since that time. You've had at least 80% of our votes since then. Tell me what we've gotten out of it. You understand, when you were sitting up there and you were a progressive left, hard left, and you were pushing, transgender, athletes transitioning from male to female, competing with with young ladies. How did that benefit the black community? Why are sanctuary cities existing? Why is that? Why do you get to, implement laws that could get you to ignore federal laws? You sure you didn't sell us out? You sure that you weren't doing this to ingratiate yourself with a different voting bloc?
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
What's going on, guys? Stephen A. Smith has been flirting with a presidential run for a while now, and he's doing his press tour and giving all his long-form interviews. And it seems like he is a lot more of a threat to the actual Democrat Party than he is for any Republican nominee. A lot of his most poignant criticisms right now hit harder at the left than they do the right, which actually raises a problem for Stephen in a minute, but we'll come back to that.
Everybody on the right stood up. None of the Democrats stood up. Zero. Knowing the cameras are rolling, knowing that the optics be what they are, because again, if you consider the question that he asked about putting America first and American citizens first, he didn't sit up there and say white Americans or black Americans. He said Americans. With Representative Ilhan Omar screaming, he knew you weren't going to stand. He knew 73 of y'all were going to show up to other places and not show up to the State of the Union. He set you up.
So the other day, Stephen sat down to do an interview with a guy named Graham Bensinger. And he took that opportunity to lay out some very poignant questions regarding Black America and our loyalty to the Democrat Party. And he really, really did a great job of just questioning the narrative about sanctuary cities, about these extravagant social policies like transgenderism and how far do LGBT rights go. And then he really did ask the ultimate question, though. Are you sure you haven't betrayed us?
As a black man, civil rights legislation, 1964, I'm going to ask the Democratic Party, tell me what you've done for us since that time. You've had at least 80% of our votes since then. Tell me what we've gotten out of it. Because it seems to me like we still got some of the same troubles. You've given us more access to capital. I'll give you that. But what else have you done? Fair Housing Act, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, I got you. But what have you really, really done for us? You understand, when you were sitting up there and you were a progressive left, hard left, and you were pushing, transgender, athletes transitioning from male to female, competing with with young ladies. How did that benefit the black community? When you were talking about cancer culture and woke culture and people were getting dismissed, suspended, or fired for pronouncing the wrong pronoun or something, how did that help the black community? You sure you didn't sell us out? You sure that you weren't doing this to ingratiate yourself with a different voting bloc so the black vote wouldn't mean as much to you as it once did? Are you sure about that? Please explain, because I'm all ears, because it looks that way to me.
And the Democrats have been dead set, especially black Democrats. The black Democrats have been very vocal and dead set on forcing the black community to absorb infinity immigrants and then look you in your face and tell you that there's nothing wrong. You should not have a problem with it. These people are like you, so they deserve everything we would have otherwise given to you. Black Democrats right now are openly choosing some other team. The entire point of having an ethnic caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, is so that they will look out for, quote, black interest ahead of time before anyone else. Yet when you look at these people, they are working for an ethnically hostile group.
Nobody voted for you to fund illegal migrants, Brandon Johnson. And we know this is happening because Melissa Hortman, a Democrat in Minnesota, voted against funding for illegal migrants. The only Democrat, by the way, and she was murdered for it. She was murdered actually by someone who was appointed by Tim Walz, sir.
A migrant has never done anything to disrupt the progress of black people, and I will be doggone if I will allow white supremacy to separate black people from the people of this globe.
We have to abolish ICE. We have to abolish the Customs and Border Patrol in the way that they currently exist and replace them with something that actually does the work that we need for them to do. Something that is effective at holding these people in this administration accountable. I'll tell you what the work is not. The work is not killing American citizens.
You said the work we
in
need
our
them to do.
community.
I'm interested in your opinion. What is the work that we need them to do?
Absolutely. One, the work is not killing American citizens.
No,
It's
what
not
is the
going
work we
into-
need them to do?
Well, first, let's look at what they don't need to do. They don't need to go into communities like Memphis,
Do they need to
Tennessee,
deport illegal aliens?
where they're currently terrorizing
need
and
to deport
traumatizing
illegal
our
aliens?
communities. What we also need
Can
to
you
make
say
sure
it?
is that we have elected
Can you
officials
say
who are
it?
creating a pathway of opportunity for people who are currently undocumented.
Do
Because the
we
truth
need
of the
a
matter
federal
is-
law enforcement agency to deport illegal aliens, yes or no?
We do need a federal law enforcement agency that deals with immigration, that doesn't kill people.
deport illegal aliens,
What we
yes
do
or no?
also need is laws that make sure that people
Is
who
there
are
a single illegal alien
undocumented.
that you would deport?
You know, this is what I want you to focus
one.
on.
Is
This
there
what I want
one?
you to focus on. There are a lot of people in this country and
One.
in this community, in our communities,
Is there one?
that have done so much to make them better, and we need to be prioritizing
So the
how
answer
we
is
create
no?
opportunity.
Is
and
this the
access for
Democratic
them
position
to
for
be there.
26?
The
If there are
Democratic
no
position
illegal
in
aliens that should be
26 the
deported?
Democratic position in 26 is that we don't terrorize American citizens, we don't terrorize undocumented
If you were
people,
advising
and we
Democrats in
don't kill
26, would you
people
advise
like
them to
Alex
answer this
Reddy
question
and
this
Renee
way?
Good.
That you can't say there is a single illegal alien that should be deported by the federal government.
What is shocking to me is that you think you can narrow the challenges of
not narrow, it's broad.
immigration.
There's 20 million
that you can
here.
challenge the issues of immigration into one yes or no question when the reality is the policies and practices
should we follow
of
the law
this
is the yes or no
administration have led to the deaths of American citizens and has not produced the results that
No
we want.
deportations. That's the Democratic position.
Yeah, you're talking about the border. Yeah, the border needed to be closed, but that was because Biden opened it. If Biden had it opened and followed Obama, who deported more people than Trump did, in Obama's term in office, over 3.1 million people were deported. How come you didn't follow that, Joe Biden? How come you didn't follow that, Democrats? How come it was okay to celebrate ICE at that particular time when when Obama was in office, and you had networks literally traveling with ICE to show you the marvelous work that they were doing, but suddenly Trump is doing it, and now it's a pariah, and ICE needs to go, and it needs to be completely banned. Why are sanctuary cities existing? Why is that? Why do you get to, implement laws that could get you to ignore federal laws? How is that? How does that benefit our country? I'm saying to ask ourselves these questions.
Well, that's about it. And congratulations. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for actually asking these questions. And I wonder, though, I really do wonder how long before a white liberal in particular gets upset with Stephen A. Smith for his non-traditional Democratic positions because he criticizes the party's over excess and maybe their hypocrisy even on some levels. And at some point, I imagine a white liberal is going to call Stephen A. Smith a coon, a house nigga, some type of racially provocative charged term. And then black liberals are going to support that because that is what they're doing right now. Black liberals are making it okay for white liberals to be racially hostile to black people who don't toe the line. And Stephen A. Smith, whatever you may think of him, he doesn't do a great job of towing the line. And that's not really going to play well as a black male Democrat. The one thing you have to be as a black male Democrat is a man who is willing to toe the line. You have to toe the party line. You have to defend the party's bizarre social stances. You have to own the party's hypocritical legal postures, and you can't actually stand as a man on your own in front of the crowd. Stephen A. Smith kind of revels in being a man on his own in front of the crowd, and it makes everyone wonder, why would you even want to come out as a Democrat? You're Republican built, Stephen.
It seems to me that your attachments to the Democrat Party are of a Democrat Party maybe of 20 or 30 or 40.
Absolutely.
Because everything that you talk about and the way that I actually love that you still describe yourself as a liberal, because I do consider I'm a real liberal. It just has nothing to do with the Democrat Party now. So when you talk about the gay rights, let's say, or abortion, which has been kicked back to the states, Republicans aren't really screaming about it. You don't hear them trying to reverse gay marriage or something. Or the fact that Trump has really shifted the party when it comes to let's say, minorities. It still seems to me you are more of a Republican. I'm not trying to just throw you in a bucket, but you're just trying to understand the thought process.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's fair is fair. If you see what I say and what I believe and how I conduct myself, I have no problem with people saying that.
Stephen, oh my God. I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm going to pose the question for you. Don't answer here. Don't answer now. Just think about it, Stephen. You are a black man sitting down to do an interview with a gay white man who recently acquired an infant child so that he and his male partner can raise that child together as their own, quote, offspring. And you, as a black man who wants to be president on the Democratic ticket, how do you feel about that, Stephen? Your answer will determine how you do as a Democrat. That being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and consider joining the club if you will. It helps us to make content like this all the time, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Later.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.